Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Inside the Foul podcast brings you the opinions and perspectives of a couple best friends. And if you don't like that call, we've got 3 words for you. You're out of here. We are your hosts, bringing you all things baseball all the time, anytime, day or night. We do our best. Chris and Ethan.
What's up, buddy? You ready to have some fun?
Always down for it. So, today we're sitting down with a man who didn't just make it to the big leagues. He stayed there. And in this game, that tells you everything you need to know. Logan Morrison, over a decade in Major League Baseball, not by accident, not by hype, but by proving year after year that he belonged. A bat that could change a game, a presence you felt in the clubhouse, and a competitor who understood exactly what it takes to survive at the highest level. Because this game will humble you, expose you, and replace you if you let it. And Logan Morrison didn't let it. From the grind through the minors, to make his mark with the Miami Marlins, to evolving his game across every stop in his career. This is someone who learned how to adjust, how to fight, and how to stay dangerous in a league that never stops coming. So today isn't just about numbers. It's about the mindset, the edge, and the reality of what it takes to last in Major League Baseball. Logan Morrison, welcome to Inside the Foul.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes, sir. So
That's a hell of an intro, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you. Listen, I try to make sure that our guests feel special because, listen, this is a big thing for us to get to talk to you about your career and get stories that a lot of fans don't get to get from professional players.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely did it. I think one thing you hit on is, just not letting go. When you have something so special, you got to remind yourself that you dreamed about this as a kid. You're playing for that little boy, as well as the grown man trying to make his way through life and have set up his family, set up his kids for life, and all that kind of stuff. So you just you put your head down and grind.
See, and I love that mindset because you talk about, the kids and everything, but, you come from a family that was Coast Guard oriented. You moved around periodically. So before pro ball, before the draft, what did your life look like growing up, moving around and trying to figure out where you fit, and what did baseball play in that role?
Yeah, it played a huge role. So I think that was one of the big things that saved me and kind of kept me, I guess, level-headed or okay with moving, being able to make friends fast through baseball, being part of a team, being part of like a tribe, that thing really helped me adjust to new areas, new cultures, things like that. So, and then always experiencing, that first couple of days, weeks, months of meeting new people, it gets you to experience a lot of things, grow up quick. You have people when we got drafted, and they say I'm homesick or I want to go home and I don't want to do this anymore. It's like, homesick, what is that? Like I always loved going out, and that's just what I knew. So traveling and staying in hotels and things like that, yeah, it was a little different, but I was to the same point, I was more used to it than other people.
At what point did baseball stop being something you did and started being something you needed to pursue?
That's a good question. I felt like ever since I was little, I remember my mom taking me to school in Wilmington, North Carolina. I was young, I don't know, 3rd grade. She said, "What do you want to do when you grow up?" And I said, "Play baseball." She goes, "Okay, well, if that doesn't work out, what do you want to do?" I was like, "Be a brain surgeon." She's like, "Well, there's a lot of blood involved with that." It's like, "All right, I'll just play baseball." So, from that moment on, my parents never let me forget that. And there's many times where I was like, "I don't want to do this anymore." And my dad's like, "All right, go get a job." I'm like, you know what? I'm going to play baseball. So I think they gave me perspective on that kind of stuff. And, gave me a kick in the ass when I needed it, gave me a pat on the back when I needed it. Really, I owe a lot to them for keeping me focused and, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
See, and I love that. That's a big testament to your support system that you had, which kind of led into your time. You went the junior college route for baseball, and started hitting at a high level. What changed for you in that transition into junior college? Because JUCO is just as competitive as a lot of the D1.
Hmm. Yeah. Back, I think one of the main reasons was I got drafted out of high school as a draft and follow. And so I didn't want to lose the draft eligibility. I wanted to be able to go back into the draft. That's why I went to the JUCO route. And I think it was just a year of getting bigger and stronger. I was 17 years old when I graduated high school. So I wasn't completely developed yet. I was 18 in junior college, but I should have been a senior in high school at that point. I don't think I was ready for D1 life and all that kind of stuff. So I think it was better that I went the junior college route, stay with my grandma, things like that.
Okay. What was the biggest development portion of your game during that time?
Well, I think it was, like I said, just getting bigger and stronger. You do face better pitching at times, but I think most part was just another year of developing your body, growing into it, getting bigger and stronger.
Okay. So you talk about draft day. Take me to that draft day. Like, where were you? Who were you around? What did it feel like hearing your name called in the 22nd round?
Well, it's not like you wait around like you see on TV and things like that. I was playing baseball, practicing with the travel ball team I was on in Louisiana, and I think we were running poles or something. And the coach pulled me aside and he goes, "Hey, you just got drafted. Congratulations!" I'm like, "All right, cool." My dad was there. My dad found out, and he's like, "All right, we're gonna take you to dinner for celebration." I'm like, "Okay." Now that's pretty much it.
So, about your draft day, did you hear from any other teams than the Florida Marlins?
Uh, there was other, there was other teams around. I think I knew pretty much that the Marlins were the most interested. But I don't really remember. I think the Braves. But this is all scouts that came around in high school, so I don't really remember too much about that.
Fair enough. So when you start climbing and becoming a top prospect in the Marlins system, how does that label change the way you're treated or the way that you see yourself? Because you were a very high prospect for that organization at the time.
Yeah, I think you try to use it as motivation. You put yourself on the map, with all these guys that people have said are better than you. You've surpassed some of them in the eyes of these people. But really, what does that mean? Nothing. All the minor league stuff is just a dress rehearsal until you get to the big leagues. So you just, again, you kind of keep it for what it is as a motivator, maybe, but for the most part, it's like I got to focus on what I got to do, and that's being better than the guy on the mound that day. And that's kind of where you got to try to keep it at.
Was there ever a moment in the minors where you surprised yourself where you're like, okay, I'm actually better than I thought I was?
Yeah. There was it's crazy because you push, you push, you push, and then one day you're like, holy, all right, I'm pretty good, huh? So it was like 2008. I had a really good year. I was in the Florida State League, won the MVP in that year, and then I went to the Arizona Fall League, and you hear about all these names, all these guys, blah blah blah, and I'm better than all of them, and I'm doing better than all of them. And I think it was, at that time, I was like, all right, I can do this. I can be in the big leagues for a long time. And so I guess that's when.
I will say that got you a lot of that got a lot of people talking about you and exposure to your type of play at the time. But on the flip side, was there a moment where you got exposed a little and you had to adjust and was it what did that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, in the big leagues, you're always having to adjust. And it's, I had to, when I first got called up, there was no book on me. So it was probably the easiest time to hit in the big leagues. And all my ground balls were finding holes and this and that. And you realize that, all right, well, now everybody knows the book on you. They know what type of hitter you are. They know what you're looking for. You can't just take every first pitch because they're going to throw it right down the middle. So swing at that. Okay, now they know you're going to swing at that. So you're not going to get the fastball down the middle. So don't swing at that. There's little things every day that you got to go through. And I had to change my swing. I was like a slap hitter. And injuries and whatever else, like I had to develop and learn how to hit the ball in the park. And I always had a good eye, command of the zone, but more of like uh, knowing when to pick my spots to jump ship and hit the ball out.
So that was part of the reason you got called up so quickly, because you got called up in 2010 because of what you were doing with the bat and the ability that you had to see the ball and actually make contact. Walk me through the day you got called up to the big leagues. What do you remember most vividly about that?
Yeah, we had flown. So I was in Omaha, Nebraska, and we had played the Omaha Royals and Old Rosenblatt Stadium. And shoot, I hit a homer off the Greg Holland, Royals closer, eventual closer, and World Series champion. Opposite field, like an inside fastball, hit it out to left center. And I was like, that was weird, cool. And then we fly home. I say bye to all my family. Fly home. We land, and it's interim manager at the time because the manager of the big leagues had gotten fired. So our manager got called up basically to the big leagues, Edwin Rodriguez. So then we had the hitting coach now as the manager, Greg Norman, and he gets off uh, the phone right as we land. He goes, "Hey, Lomo, you're going to San Francisco tomorrow." I'm like, "The heck is in San Francisco, dude? I don't. What are you talking about?" Guy behind him's like, "You're going to the big leagues, bro." I'm like, "What? That's sick." So yeah, called my mom and dad. They're 45 minutes away. Just so happened I was living at home in New Orleans. Is where the team was. Slidell is where they lived. So they drove 45 minutes, got me a suit. My girlfriend happened to be there at the time. We flew out San Francisco the next morning, got no sleep, and went and got a hit off Matt Cain. I was like 1 for 4 or something like that. And yeah, that was it.
What a way to make a debut! Hit off of Matt Cain for like that. So
Yeah.
even to that's your first big league game. What were the emotions and the feelings like when you took the field that time?
Yeah. So they had just put me out in left field 2 weeks before I got called up. And in San Francisco, the wind blowing everywhere. So I was more nervous about playing defense than I was hitting. And then you realize you get to the in the first inning, you're the visiting team. I'm hitting second, facing Matt Cain. He's got a no hitter under his belt, and they're the defending World Series champions. It's like a crazy atmosphere there. And you're just like, dude, this is heaven, right? Like you're just, let's go. And you realize that Matt Cain, yes, he is very good. Um, but him and guys like him, they are still human beings. They still put their pants on one leg at a time. And they're just another name with a number behind it, another zero, more zeros than you got at the time. But you can still get in there and compete and have good at bats and win some of those at bats.
So at that point in that moment, did you feel like you had arrived, or did you feel like you still had to maintain to stay there? Did you feel like you still had something to prove?
Always has something to prove. Yeah, it's not to anybody else but yourself, to your family. It's more about the name on your back. Always playing with the chip on your shoulder. Um, you're never satisfied. Um, you just get after it. You're always wanting more. That's not a bad thing. That's why you're there. That's why all those guys are there. They're monsters. They're animals. Um, some of them are naturally talented, but and some of them work really hard for what they have. But at the end of the day, their mindsets are pretty much the same, and they're always wanting more. They're so competitive, very competitive people.
So I got a question for you. Who was a pitcher or a matchup early on in your career that you realized it was a big jump from AAA to the majors?
Oh man, a lot of them. I mean, I remember trying to face Johnny Venters, and I'm like, dude, what is going on? I had 97 with a two seamer from hell. It was like just riding in on you, and you didn't know where it was going to end up. You're always swinging that stuff out of the zone, and you're like, all right, I'm going to take, and you get to 3-2, and here's a fastball, and you still miss it. So, it's that guy was really nasty. A lot of guys, man. I don't know. Just guys know how to pitch too. Like Tim Hudson, the stuff didn't really stand out, but just knew where to put it and how to get hitters like me out.
How did you approach at the plate, and did it start to evolve once you saw guys like that actually challenge the strike zone?
So for me, it was always, get it. That you're only as good as the pitch you could hit. When I first came up, it didn't change. It was, get something in the middle of the zone, get them up, get them middle, um, you know, go up the middle the other way with it, and just grind your butt off. Try to foul bastard pitches off, keep yourself in at bats, get the pitch count up, things like that. And then I think the average fastball when I first got into the big was like 93 miles an hour, and then by the time I finished, it was like 96. And yeah, it doesn't sound like a big difference, but it is. And you realize that you can't just foul balls off down the middle anymore because they're going to make you pay for it by teasing the zone, by making you think something's a strike when it's not, by making you think something's a ball when it's not. So the stuff just increasing had to change your mindset to like, all right, I got to find a pitch, find a mistake, and then do damage on that mistake. And that's part of the adjustments too.
So you played left field and first base. Those are two contrasting positions in
Mm.
responsibility and what you're doing. Um, what was that like, and how like was that always a skill you had position wise, or which one did you develop?
Well, I don't know. If you look at the numbers, I didn't really develop in the outfield. They just put me out there because I could hit, I think. Uh, but I was like, I remember being like, guys, put me in the outfield. I know that the guy ahead of me can't play outfield. I can. If you just let me go play there for a little bit, it'll be better it'll be better for everybody. Well, they didn't do it till 2 weeks. I get called up in 2 weeks, and then like now they're like panicking, trying to work with me every day. And it's like, guys, I'm doing what I can, but you can only learn so much, with what the time you got. So, and then like all of it plays into it is like not having been able to be out there for a long time, you realize the wear and tear it puts on your body when you're not used to it. So you have knee injuries, you have things like that. So all that stuff kind of played against me. I'm not trying to make excuses or anything. It just is what it is. Um, and yeah, my natural position was first base. I was always pretty good over there. But you always develop over there too. So I was always learning new things, new tricks of the trade.
So what was there ever a coach or a specific bit of advice that you were given when making that transition to the outfield that kind of made the position click for you?
Well, like I said, I don't think it ever clicked. But um, I couldn't tell you, Terry Brock telling me like, "Hey, just make the plays you can make. If the pitcher gives a ball up over your head and hits off the wall, that's on them. Throw it to the right base, and your job's done. It's easy." I'm like, all right. So that's kind of how you treated it. Don't try to do too much. If the ball's over your head, go pick it up and throw it into the cutoff guy. Pretty much it.
So part of what we originally started talking about from the intro to now is, at some point every player goes through trying to make it to trying to stay. When did that shift happen for you?
And I don't think you ever think about that. I think you just, again, you are what your opportunity is. So, if I'm hitting third that day, I'm gonna be the best three-hole hitter I can be, or second, or whatever it is. And you're not thinking about trying to. I think the second you think about trying to stay in the big leagues, or trying to make it, or any of that stuff, instead of focusing on the task at hand, and that's putting the bat on the ball, putting the barrel on the ball, swinging at a good pitch to hit, um, looking the ball into your glove, making good throws, all that kind of stuff. It's taking away from what you need to be thinking about and what you need to be doing, situations and things like that. So, um, yeah, I try not to waste my time with any of that stuff.
So you spent some time in a few different organizations. You started with the Marlins, you played with the Mariners, Tampa Bay, Minnesota, and then with the Brewers also. So you've seen the sides of the game that are not as fun. You've seen the trades, the DFAs getting moved around. What's a moment from that part of your career that sticks out to you, and how did you navigate that with a positive mindset?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I think it's just more. I don't know. It's like, all right, you guys don't think I can play anymore. Well, it's gonna suck when I burn you later or whatever. You try to like, um, try to use it in a positive mind frame, positive mindset, and like, hey, it didn't work out, whatever. Move on, go to the next team. Hopefully, they give you an opportunity and make it hurt the last team that got rid of you uh, when you have that opportunity. So, again, it's not like they say it's not personal. Well, yeah, it is personal. Like you you grind your whole life to get there, and you want to be there as long as you can. It's not just business to the players; it is personal. And if it's not, then that's why they're not there. That's why they didn't make it.
That's fair. See, and that you said something there that really stuck with me. It's that level of confidence that you had that, okay, you don't think I can play, well, I'll just burn you next time. It's like, what did, like, outside of that mindset, what did that experience teach you about yourself, and what did you learn about that experience?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think. Listen, you don't when you go through this stuff like that, you never been through it. You don't handle things, perfectly all the time. But I just think that it falls back to like my childhood and my dad being so hard on me, military discipline, all that kind of stuff is like, like the Tiger Woods stuff where he's like jangling his keys or his coins in his pocket while he's trying to putt, things like that. It's like, dude, my dad always told me, he's like, if you can get through me, you can get through anything. So my job's not to be your friend, and my job is to be your father, and I'm preparing you for the world. And if it means over preparing you, then so be it. And you can hate me all you want, but when it's all said and done, you're going to thank me. And he was right.
I think he really was because, you know, then we get to 2017 when you're with the Tampa Bay Rays, 38 home runs. You had a career year that year. When you look back at that season, what was different about you and your game?
Well, I was healthy. That was a good thing. I was healthy. I got off to a good start. I was able to get the full time job, play every day, um, and get into a groove. I mean, that's the hardest thing to do, is getting the opportunity. Once you have the opportunity, don't let it go. And a lot of things contributed to the ups and downs of my career, and I would say health is the biggest issue, the biggest factor. But being able to work with the training staff of the Rays every day helped me stay healthy, and yeah, I was able to do do good things.
So was that something you kind of like felt building? Because during that run, it kind of seemed like you were really seeing every pitch in a different way. Did the game slow down, or was it more controlled than it was before for you? Like, what happened in that season that clicked?
Yeah. I mean, listen, you go through ups and downs in every season, but I felt pretty locked in. The majority of the year, maybe like towards the end, I was getting a little out of whack mechanically. But I would say for the most part, it was just the health, like, not having to worry about a bunch of stuff breaking down, being able to stay in your legs and control your body to be able to slow the ball down, like you alluded to. And if you're able to do that day in and day out, day game after night game, you're going to put yourself in a really good position to be able to hit. And then getting, the work in with your hitting coach and the scouting reports and all that stuff helps, man. You fall into like this, it's your life. You live it, you breathe it, you find little holes in the pitcher's game, and you sit on a pitch because you know it's coming. And eventually, you get it, and you don't come off it, and you're rewarded for it, and all that stuff plays into it for sure.
So, how did that version of yourself compare to your younger self, hitting wise change?
Yeah, so I don't think I would ever sit on a pitch when I was younger. I don't think I would ever go an entire at bat looking for one pitch. I was more reactive, more see ball, hit ball type stuff, um, and didn't really do like scouting reports. Didn't really look at video, and I think that definitely helped me more than anything was knowing what the pitcher wants to do to hitters like me before I get into the box, having an idea. See, does he double up inside? Does he go hard in, soft away? Like all these kinds of things help. instead of just, you know, get them up, get them middle. Well, yeah, cool. That's what you want to do. But if they don't make mistakes, what are you going to do? So,
See, and we talk about mistakes on a lot of the sides on the pitcher side, but this is a sport that's 70% failure. Baseball forces you to deal with failure constantly. How did your relationship with failure change over your career?
well, I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. I think it's more like, not never being satisfied, and realizing that just because you got out, it's how you get out, whether it's a failure or not. Did I stick to my plan? Did I execute my plan? And if those things didn't coincide and didn't mingle, then we got problems. So was I looking for this pitch? Did I get this pitch? And if I did, okay, then what happened? Because if it did and I got it and I missed it, then something's off. And then you have to go back to, all right, well, if nothing looks off in your swing, then it's round ball, round bat, let it go. And that's probably like the toughest thing I would say, just letting things go and not dwelling on them, and focusing on them, looking forward to the next at bat.
Was there ever a time where the mental side of the game was more harder than the physical side of the game?
That's every single day. Yeah. When you get older, it could probably, you're younger. Here's the mental side. Here's the physical side. When you get older, it's probably like this, comes like that. But, just your body doesn't recover as well and things. But yeah, I mean, it's always there. The mental side's one of the toughest things. You got to be locked in and thinking along with the pitcher for sure.
So, during your rookie year, you lost your father. How did that
Mhm.
moment change your perspective on the game, and how did you navigate maintaining a professional, still playing baseball and still mourning that situation?
Well, I think he made it easy. He's always telling me, he's like, dude, don't let this affect you. You still have a job to do. Um, you did it. You made it. And it was always a thing where it was like I knew what he wanted me to be doing, so it was easy. It was like, all right, if I'm going out there and I'm having fun and I'm playing to the best of my ability, I'm right where I need to be. I'm right where he wants me to be. So it was easy.
Would you say baseball is something that you helped you get through it and that you leaned on during that time?
Yeah, it was always for me. Baseball was always like a cathartic experience for me, whether it be, no matter what was going on in my childhood, if I got bad grades, or if, I was getting in fights with my parents, or my parents were fighting or whatever, I go on the field and I get an escape for an hour and a half hour. So that kind of stuff. And so it just kind of carries on to that. Yeah. And when you don't do well, you don't really, you look back on it, you don't really remember the times you don't do well. You remember like the good times and having fun with the guys and things like that.
Okay. As your life off the field evolved with family and perspective, how did the family and life outside of the game change how you were and how you saw the game?
Well, um, I mean, I think it definitely calms you down a little bit. You don't dwell on, your 0 for 4s as much. You kind of put things in perspective, as like, you got your kids to think about, and um, you're gonna watch Moana with your little girl in the morning before you go to the field, no matter if you go 0 for 4 or 4 for 4 the day before. So what's it matter? So
That's fair.
yeah.
So, was there ever a point where your children traveled with you while you were playing?
Not to every place, but yeah, they would come.
So you've been a part of a lot of clubhouses. What separates a good one from a great one?
I just think it's the cohesiveness of like the guys. Like, if you have guys that want to hang out with each other, like on and off the field, in the clubhouse after games, talking about the game, or at a bar after the clubhouse, things like that. Like, yeah, like that's always going to help. You're always thinking about stuff, learning from other guys. Somebody's saying the same thing to you, just in a different way, and it clicks. So you're always absorbing, so always a sponge, and trying to give other people advice and things like that too.
So, what role did you play in the dugout? Because there's always that guy that every team needs. What did you feel your responsibility was in the clubhouse?
I don't know. I feel like that's a question for the teammates, but I didn't have much patience for lack of hustle or mental errors, things like that, like things in the field. Like, listen, baseball and hitting is one of the hardest things you're ever going to do. So going through slumps is part of it, and never hear anything about that. But lack of aggressiveness in the outfield or lack of aggressiveness in the infield or not knowing how many outs there are, things like that would perturb me a little bit. Maybe I'd say something here and there, but at the end of the day, too, it's like they're human beings and they're going to make mistakes. So yeah, you forget the outs. They know it. They don't need to be told it. So it just depends.
Yeah. Did you ever have a teammate that impacted you the most?
Yeah, it's tough to like say. I mean, there's a bunch of teammates that helped me out throughout the years. Dan Ugla, John Buck, Joe Beimel, bunch of guys. I love talking to pitchers, getting in their head, trying to figure out what they're thinking, how they're thinking. That helped me out with my approaches a lot. Like knowing the enemies pretty good. Was it keep your friends close and your enemies closer, things like that. So yeah, I can't single out one teammate, but yeah, there's a lot of teammates that help me.
What stop in your career felt the most like home, and what made it feel different?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I would say either Seattle or Tampa, and I don't know. I really don't. They're both very different places on opposite sides of the country. Coaches were very different. Um, I think the first year in Seattle was awesome because we were in a playoff race and feeling that electricity, feeling that uh, on the precipice of breaking like a 20-year playoff drought, whatever it was for Seattle was pretty cool. Didn't happen, but it was fun. We were in it until the end. And then the personal success that I had with Tampa was great too. And I love the St. Pete area and Tampa Bay and go there all the time still. I live in Jupiter, but we drive over with the kids and hang out down on Water Street and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. One of those two places.
Okay. So, could you tell us a story from your time in the league that really captures what big league life is like?
Let's see. I don't know. I think it's just like the bus trips. Like we have, it's just after getting off the plane, you get on the bus, and guy if we're playing well, it's fun. The guy gets on the mic and starts making fun of the teammates and busting each other's balls and all that stuff's pretty cool. And then you get to go stay in a nice hotel and go to sleep, wake up, and go play baseball again. So I mean, I don't know. I think that's kind of like the big league lifestyle. The thing that I miss the most about it is like just hanging out with the guys off the field.
So, you played through a big shift in the league. So, you played right before analytics got big, and then analytics show up, and now you're talking about launch angles and different types of how this pitcher is. Now we had scouting reports, but now you're looking at the big analytics. How often does he start with his fastball? How did that experience and that change in real time for you?
Well, that was a lot of the reason. I mean, I struggled to do it, but I had to make an adjustment and make a change. Like my launch angle wasn't good. I wasn't fast enough to beat out these ground balls I was hitting to the infielders anymore. So and they were shifting. So I had to figure out how to get the ball in the air. Um, and it's not necessarily about exit velo. I think one of my lowest exit velos years was my best year I had, but it was just about clipping the ball the right way and getting the ball out of the park. Yeah. Doubles and homers and walks. That's what it's about. And that's for me at least. I mean, I don't have the speed that some of these other guys have to affect the game like that. But yeah, I think that was a huge thing, and it was tough. But yeah, you had to do it or you're gone.
I mean, that's fair. But do you think that like today's hitters better understand things because of that, or do you feel like there's still something missing?
I mean, I think there's a better understanding of it, for sure. Um, it's to tell you if there's something missing, I don't know. I'm sure there is, but there's a lot of strikeouts in the game, but it's the hitting's gone down. No, it hasn't. The pitching's gone way up, and they haven't moved the mounds back. So, I mean, those guys are throwing 105 now. So, yeah, good luck. You guys go hit that. It's hitting's really hard.
If you were coming up in today's game, how do you feel like your approach would differ?
I would pitch. Yeah, I wouldn't hit. No thanks. I look back like I'm an idiot. What was I doing? This is what you picked to do? Go for 4, get your ass kicked every day, and go back again the next day to do it. Yeah, no, I'm good.
So on that note, did you ever pitch before you
Oh, in high school,
started?
yeah, but I mean, I was more of a thrower than a pitcher. I don't know. I just Max Everett threw as hard as I could.
Uh, could you locate though?
No, I was either down the middle or in the backstop.
So when you made your transit, like, because you played first base as well. When playing first base, because my brother played that position, and his biggest complaint was always nobody knows how to throw the ball to the first baseman, and it's always my fault for missing the play. Did you ever have kangaroo court over players not being able to get you the ball?
No, I think like kangaroo court is more meant for like off the field stuff or like baseball etiquette stuff, unwritten rule, BS stuff like that. They try to keep the on field, I guess, plays out of kangaroo court. So
Did you ever have any kangaroo court experience?
a couple of them, but like I said, it's more like bus rides, guys wearing shorts to the field in the big leagues when you're not supposed to. We had beer showers, and this one kid threw a beer bottle in the beer shower, so the glass shattered everywhere. No, it's supposed to be a can. Yeah, and the guy was naked, so it was like, don't cut yourself, stuff like that. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
stupid, but
So, looking back at all of this, did you ever feel like you were going to make it 10 years in the league?
no, I don't. I don't think you ever like. Again, you don't think about that stuff. You still don't. Like, it's just, it is what it is, and you just try to get everything you can out of it. Squeeze it squeeze every ounce of that orange juice out of that orange. I guess I don't know. You just keep going. You don't think about how long or. This is at the end of the day, it's never going to be long enough. You could play for 20 years. You're going to be like, I wish I was still playing. So it doesn't matter.
So, we asked this of one of our prior guests, Dominic Leone, and he had gotten it with his service. Did you get your lifetime achievement card for the
Ticket.
for the tickets to games and stuff?
The gold card, yeah, I got it. Yep, it's somewhere here. I haven't used it ever, but my girlfriend's always like, "You want to?
Oh, I was scared to ask.
Did you bring your gold card so we can go to the game?" And I was like, "Nope, sorry, forgot it." No. But I mean, you go anyways. I think I've shown it one time. I took my buddy to a spring training game. And I showed up to the gate and I was like, yeah, I have this. It's supposed to get me in. They're like, what's that? I'm like, yeah, I figured. Like, nobody knows what it is, even when you show the ticket people. So it's like, why even use it?
See, and that's one thing because even Dominic hadn't used it yet, so I was curious if if it was something that people at the ticket booth even realized.
Well, not at the ballpark at the Palm Beaches. It was the Nationals versus the Braves, I think. And yeah, they didn't. They had no idea. I think they figured it out eventually, but it wasn't like the smooth thing where it's like, oh yeah, here's 2 of our best available, like it says on the thing. No, I was like, oh, let me call my manager and wait here 30 minutes. I was like, all right, well, I'll just buy a ticket at that point.
Right, just hand it here.
Yeah.
So when you take a step back and look at your entire career, what's the moment you're most proud of?
Oh, I don't know. Let me think here. I think the one that sticks out the most is my dad passed away uh, in the off season when I made my debut, so I got to see that, and then passed away that December. So then my first opening day I had, uh, he was gone, but my whole family came to watch me play. And I'm laying in bed with my girlfriend at the time, and the night before, and I'm like, I don't know why, but I'm gonna hit a home run tomorrow. She's like, good, do it. I'm like, no, it's like it's already happened. Like I know I'm gonna hit a home run. So seventh inning, 2-1 pitch, hit a homer to right field, and get the point to my mom, give her the bat after the game, get the ball back, all that kind of stuff. So that was really cool. And yeah, I have video of my girlfriend in the stands being like, "He told me he was gonna do that. That's unbelievable." Blah blah. So my mom's crying, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's good.
What was that like? How did you know you were gonna hit a homer? Like just a feeling, or just
Yeah, you get these like no premonitions, or maybe it's just I'm just a dumb idiot, and I'm like, I have to convince myself I'm going to do it before I do it. I mean, I have a couple of instances in my career where it's like, all right, you get on base here, I'm gonna tie the game up. And, the guy gets on base, and I tie the game up because like, what are you, a fortune teller? And then, like, all right, and we're in extra innings. I just made an error with the Mariners. It was my only walk off of my career, and I was pissed. They just made an error, and the bullpen bailed us out, and I didn't have. They didn't give up any runs. But the guy Dustin Ackley's behind me getting his stuff on, and I'm looking at him like, why are you doing that? He's like, what do you mean? I said, why are you getting ready? You don't need that. Just come meet me at home plate. First pitch homer. It's not like that. It's just like
It's
what
amazing.
what makes you
that's
think you can
cool?
say that to like to a big leaguer, and like like you're playing against the best and you're facing this pitcher in extra innings and you're just gonna jump ship the first pitch. I don't know, but I think I just had to tell myself I was gonna hit a homer, so I did.
That's cool. And we always talk about the romantic side of baseball, that being your first opening day, the family there. It's just like I think that that's the part of the game that I fall in love with the most is moments like that that just make the game feel almost like otherworldly to an extent. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, it's like there's. I mean, he was definitely there helping me out for sure. Like all that kind of stuff plays into it, right? Like, um, yeah, it is pretty cool. I mean, the guy, like I said, I was living at home with my parents when I was in AAA when my dad got diagnosed, and I had a teammate of mine living with me. Well, he ended up making the team the next year after my dad had passed because of a freak injury. And after I hit that home run opening day, he pulls me out of like the line. We're two rookies, and you're not really supposed to do that, but whatever. Pulls me out of the line. I'm crying. He's crying. He's like, "You're the best player I've ever seen. I can't believe you did that for him. That's amazing." Blah blah. Shit like that. Just like you can't explain it, but it's cool.
That's awesome. If you could go back and talk to, the kid that just got drafted, what would you have told him?
Slow down, big boy. You don't know it all, and you're not invincible. You're not Superman. So yeah, I thought I could play through anything, not sleep, go out all night, do all that stuff, and it catches up with you. But I had fun. I had a good time doing it.
So, would you say that like baseball gave you a sense of belonging to an extent?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, like I said, when I was moving around my childhood, that really helped me meet friends and meet people. So yeah, definitely.
So, to anyone else that would be chasing this career path and to follow that dream of playing baseball because it's not guaranteed. What would you want them to understand about staying in it?
I mean, I think everybody's different, so it's hard for me to give other people advice on how to go about it. But I think for me, it's just like there was no plan B. This is what I was gonna do, and nobody's gonna tell me different. And if you told me different, it's just gonna help me get there. And many people told me you're not going to make it. You're a dime a dozen, all that kind of stuff. And I'd always use that as motivation when I didn't want to go work out, when I didn't want to go hit, when I didn't want to go do those things. And um, it was all for the better. shoot it. I was kind of a dick when I played. I really didn't take names and tried to kick everybody's ass and like was just me against the world type stuff. And but that was the mentality I had to have. And it's this game is, dude, when you play 162 games in 180 days, you got to find something to get a fire in your belly every day, because it turns into a job. If you go through the motions, you're going to get exposed quickly. So you got to make it personal. You got to make it. You got to make it. It's me or you, and life or death. You're trying to take food off my plate, that kind of stuff. So,
Do you feel like your level of perseverance in the game, did it come from like a stubborn mindset, or is that just the mindset you were raised with?
I think it was the mindset I was raised with. But yeah, it definitely come from a stubborn mindset. You got to be stubborn to play that game. Um, you know, uh, my parents had a. I'm sure you guys have seen it, but the Cal Ripken poster when he broke the Iron Man streak, and it says like perseverance, and it has the description up there, and it's him with his hat off, and he's got his helmet off, and he's waving to the crowd or whatever it was. Um, yeah, that's for sure. All that kind of stuff. You know, it's not one thing; it's a bunch of different things that mold you into who you are, for better, for worse. Uh, People are always going to go about it differently. People are always going to have different mindsets on things. Well, you got to find out what works for you and what's going to keep you motivated, or get you to be disciplined and consistent every single day to go out there and put your best foot forward.
I love that mindset and that mentality. So, um, with that being said, we get to go into some more of the fun rapid fire questions. But before we get into that, I just want to say one thing. We've had a lot of guys on this podcast that have had, longer careers. We've talked to a lot of pitchers. We've talked to a lot of hitters. But I don't think anybody's ever been able to directly say that, yes, I was good or I wasn't good, and I kept trying. And I think that that's a good mindset to have when it comes to being, because you don't see yourself as a heavy hitter, a heavy slugger, a heavy fielder. You just did your job every day, and that's the biggest thing that kept you in the league. So I just want to say that that's something that I admire about your game.
Sure.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's listen, you're never as good as they say you are. You're never as bad as they say you are. You're always going to have ups and downs, and you might not know when those ups and downs are coming, but showing up is a huge, huge key to success.
All right, Logan, here comes the fun part. He's the serious one. I can't do serious. Listen, even as a baseball coach. So, if you had to challenge one of your teammates one at bat, what is that one pitcher that you would love that at bat against?
Oh Lord! And it was a teammate.
A teammate
Yeah.
or a pitcher that you would love to face that you never got to face that you just want that one home run moment against?
Dang, man. See, I got traded so much I faced a lot of my teammates. Uh let's go with Joe Beimel, just because he said he always would tell me left-handed hitters are stupid. They're gonna roll over my 88-mile-an-hour fastball down and away. So I'd like to hit a homer off him.
Okay. Your dream infield to play with. You at first. Who this could be any ball player at any point in baseball. Who do you want to play with in the infield?
Jesus Christ. George Brett at third, because he's the man. Then let's go with, oh my gosh, there's so many good shortstops. Let's go with, I want to play with Connor Griffin, actually. Yeah, that'd be cool. That guy looks like a stud. And then,
Ooh, I like that.
and then, let's see, second base. Oh no, I like playing with Dan Uggla. So Dan Uggla at second base.
Okay. Favorite jersey of all time
That you've worn.
that you worn?
Man, if I had those Marlin all teals, that would have been probably it. But
Yes.
I still like the pinstripe, so I'll go with that one.
Okay. Favorite stadium you played in?
I don't know what it's called now, but it was Minute Maid Park for a long time in Houston. Just I feel like I hit really well there.
Okay. Favorite bus story that you can tell without getting someone in trouble?
Oh, there's none of those. Uh, let's see. So Dave Sims is he's the play-by-play guy for the Yankees now, but he was with the Mariners. And he had gone on saying that Masahiro Tanaka should be the Cy Young Award winner at the time. This was like right around the All-Star break or right after. And Felix was really good at that time. And we're like, why didn't you say Felix? So we called him out and he came on the bus and we just wore his ass out. He took it. He took it great. But you're like, you're a homer. You're from New York. That's why you said Masahiro Tanaka. And we were like chin, fee, 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 fee. Yeah, so it's just stupid like that.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
So, was there ever a swing in your career that you wish you could have back? Like, you know you could have done damage, you wish you could have it back.
Okay, the one that comes to mind right now, I don't know why, but I hated getting out 3-0 and I hated swinging 3-0, and I did it a couple times. One was really early on in my career at the old Marlins Park, and David Ross was behind the plate, and I heard him say "thank you" after I popped out a 3-0 pitch. I wanted to kill him. And then, it's like years later. We're in Pittsburgh, and I swing at a 3-0 pitch, and it's right down the middle, I'll pop it up with the bases loaded. So yeah, those two.
Let's see. Okay, I do have one question that's not really fun, but I've always been curious. What was so much liked about the old Marlins Park? Because people used to love hitting in it, and I didn't understand why.
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I don't know. Short left field, left center got big, center's big, right center's big. I had a lot of triples there when I was fast. I mean, the infield grass was fast, so you could get some infield. You could singles, CI singles. Not sure.
Gotcha. Because I was always curious because I've seen like interviews where people are like, yeah, I love the old Marlins ballpark. And I'm like, I never got to go to it. I'm like, what's the hype over it? So,
I mean, I hated it because there was always rain delays. You were there till 1:00 in the morning playing baseball games.
What was your least favorite ballpark to hit in?
mm-hmm.
Okay, you try to like black that out and not even think about it, but I don't know. I mean, I can't think. I like San Diego, but I love the park, so I don't know. Yeah,
Were you a day game or a night game kind of player?
night game. Yeah, day games were hard to get up for after a night game for sure.
So I've got two more for you. Did you have any superstitions while getting ready for a game?
Oh my god, we don't have enough time. Yes, like if I was facing the left-handed pitcher, I'd put my left sock on first, my left pant leg, then my right sock, then my right pant leg. Like, yeah, it was just I was a mental midget with that stuff.
See, I'm superstitious even as a coach, and my wife laughs at me coaching our kids. She's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "We won last time. I got to remember what I did right against this team."
Yep. Yeah, yeah. It's a grind.
Favorite walk-up song you had?
Jason Aldean, My Kind of Party.
Okay.
Yeah. See, that was, even though the Marlins are my nemesis, but he was one of my favorite players because I was like, I actually know this person's walk-up song when they walk up.
Mm-hmm.
So, the last one that I've got for you before we let you go. Would you rather hit 300 batting average or 40 home runs?
Probably 40 home runs. 300 kind of sounds exhausting.
Now,
You got to
why
run a
is
lot of
that?
bases. Well, like I said, you get on base a lot. You got to start sprinting around those bases once other guys start hitting the ball.
That's very true. Man, Logan, it has been a treat to have you on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today.
No worry, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Yes, sir. Guys, until next time, this has been Inside the Foul Podcast. See you next time.